Good evening, everyone. I thought I'd do one more scan in my series of ETM Plus scans with the Tecsun PL-330. We'll get that going. It is now 22:29, so 11:30 at night here in Toronto. And as I said, the process is always, this is hooked up to my external antenna, which just out of frame here is the box, is the MLA30 Plus. Lights on, so that is active. It's hooked into the Tecsun PL-330, and I'm just doing a scan using the ETM Plus system that's built into this radio. And I'm really doing these just to compare the kinds of things you get at different times of day. I will open up Shortwave info here on my computer on the side so I can look up anything that seems interesting that we might find. And we're motoring right along. Because it's the middle of the night here in Toronto, I wouldn't expect to get much really above 10 megahertz. We should be pretty well into the nighttime bands, and that really means, usually rough and ready you can use 10 megahertz as your cutoff for that. So during the day, above 10 megahertz is good. At night, below 10 megahertz is likely to be where the activity is, and that depends a little bit depending on where in the world you are, of course. In the evening, you can get some crossover, and you can get a little bit more activity higher up. This is probably about it for us tonight. I'll give that just another moment to finish up, and we'll see what we've actually got. I did notice a little earlier on that there's quite a bit of activity at the 49 meter band, or in the 49 meter band tonight, so we'll see how it goes with this radio. That was with the Sangean ATS 909X2, which is my normal radio. We have 38 channels that it's recovered. Again, to explain how the ETM Plus scan on the Tecsun works, is that when it scans, it slots it into an hour. So it's actually useful to have the radio set to your local as opposed to Greenwich Mean Time. So this is set for 2200 hours. If we roll over into 2300, it'll really want a new scan, or it'll flip to a new set of presets. So you don't have to scan every time, and you have sort of automatic presets for each time period. So let's roll over to 1. As usual, this lower stuff is going to be FM breakthrough mainly on this radio. That's broadcast. And that's WWCR coming in from Nashville.
Learn more at stjude.org. Today on Real Life Radio. What really is...
That's the Canadian time signal from Ottawa. That sounds like it might be something. Let's drop the bandwidth down a little bit. It does kind of sound like we might have breakthrough there. But I'm not seeing anything on shortwave info for that.
Hardware sighting tonight. Take good care. K0VWW2 sighting.
So we're actually into we're into ham activity, or I don't know what this isn't obviously jumping out to me as a, yeah, we're in the 80-meter band, and that's what we're hearing, AM ham activity. That's fun.
Not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor. 800, 900, 8000. Life can be full of risks. One thing.
So this is WWCR again from Nashville.
If you're self-employed or you now need a
sounds like local AM.
You need to make this free call right now and see how the
I think I've got the bandwidth wide open again. Yeah.
We specialize in
This is WRMI from Okeechobee in Florida. We should hear them again on higher bands as well. This is the US time signal at 5 megahertz from Colorado. I'm not sure what that is. This could be from Balta in, yeah, I think this is Ribaldo from Cuba. A lot of noise on that. So this is WRMI from Florida again. This is again WRMI.
Love is based on emotion. Now, when our love gets, it's all about God. When our love gets contaminated, screwed up, it's still there, but all these other emotions are there.
This is probably WWCR almost for sure.
And right all the time.
It's not showing as currently on the list of broadcasts. This could very well be, and probably is, China Radio International, rebroadcast from Cuba. Should be in English.
And the other side of that is, without faith, it's impossible to please God. So, if the gospel is not being preached, and we're not talking about faith as a tautology, faith and faith equals faith, we're talking about faith in Jesus Christ. So
this would be WWCR
God,
once again from Nashville.
And the Word of God is not...
as the priest's undergarments in sexuality. Shalom Aleichem. This is the nice Jewish boy, Jonathan, coming your Jewish connection, bringing you the riches of your...
This is WRMI, again from Florida.
This out. Receiving a special free gift you're going to get in love in a... Right?
This would be from Cuba. And this is going to be Radio Habana. And this is going to be Radio Marty
En Burgova, sí. Y bueno, queda llegar hasta Burgova porque es un centro donde ahí se entrena.
from Greenville.
Entré a la academia Mocoa con 10 años.
Yeah, and this is once again CFRX from here in Toronto, where we're oddly enough too close to the transmitter to. It's about almost 150 or 70 kilometers away, something like that.
NHK ラジオセンター午後カフェ宛てにお願いいたします。早速お休みの
This is
ところ
going
から
to be
電車でこの放送を聞いていただけます。生放送のほか、
NHK World from Japan, rebroadcast from Isoden, France. As I've remarked before when I've done band scans on this radio and others, this is reliably incredibly strong here in Toronto. And this is WBCQ The Overcomer. This is from Monticello, Maine, which tends to be weaker than most of the directly south to north broadcasts. This should be Radio Habana. But it doesn't appear to be what that is.
其实呢，其实聊的都是一些很琐碎的生活闲谈啊。真正的我听到一首红歌，其实呢是小的时候我爸爸录音机里面我就听过。回想从最初的卡带。
I'm not sure what this is. So we've got this, so let's go back. This signal here is all over the place. So let's cut down the bandwidth. Let's find where it really is. So it's not at 6165, there's nothing there. So we have what sounds like these are on the same frequency. I don't know if you can hear in the background, there's an English voice, and then we have what sounds a lot like Radio China coming in. That's I don't know if that's going to come through on the mic as well. Let's change the step on the radio and see if we can. I'm locking it. What I want to do is get it out of ETM for the moment. There we go. See if we can separate those two signals. Or maybe you can hear the English voice in the background. Anyway. Oh, so we've lost our spot. Here's where we were. Okay. So it's very interesting. I will widen out the bandwidth again. something there. Well, this is Voice of America. And this is coming from Southern Africa. If that's correct. So there'll be Fimuki. I can never pronounce that correctly. That's interesting. So this is probably Radio Habana again, but you'll notice we're getting a lot of noise. And again, Radio Habana. And that's it. So that gives you some idea of what's going on when you start to get later at night here in Toronto. Essentially, most of the activity is going to be below 10 megahertz as we get round to midnight. The strongest signals are going to tend to be Southern American, Cuba, that sort of region. And then the occasional broadcast from Europe or Africa in this case. Anyway, I hope that was interesting. Another band scan, slightly different time of the day. Again, showing what you can do with the PL-330. This is, by the way, a time of day when I tend to find the signal is fairly noisy, and so that's something to keep in mind. That just has to do with local conditions and people using their electronics around here, I think. Anyway, have a good evening. Thanks.